Hello, Wasteland! Yes, welcome back, brothers! That's right, we are here to look at Gaslands UK's Car of the Month competition for March 2023, the fourth season of this competition, boys and girls. That's right, I'm your host, James of JH Miniatures, and this month has been kindly sponsored by Marcin Zaharowitz over at Mad Cars Green Miniatures. That's right, the fine purveyor of resin and cast miniature accessories and some original game lines. Check them out today. So, just before we get into this episode, can we take a moment to thank this month's sponsors, Green Miniatures, and as always their burning, blazing hot generosity for supporting this fine community of ours. I mean, come on guys, if you've not checked them out by now, what are you doing with your life? You are missing out, my friend. Have a look at their Mad Cars line. It is absolutely inspired. So, with a sponsor like this, you knew that the prizes were going to be big, my friend, and Green Miniatures did not disappoint. We have prizes for first, second and third place, with first place winning a £50 gift voucher for the Green Miniatures website, second place winning a £35 gift voucher, and third place winning a £20 gift voucher. That's right, over £100 worth of value going here today, boys and girls. So, with a sponsor like that, and with a prize pool like this, what was the theme for March's competition? Well, cleaners. Now, that could be a Gasland-style garbage truck or a waste disposal vehicle, or that could be a post-apocalyptic road sweeper. You know, one of those adorable little things driving down the street with the little tiny brushes. You know what I'm talking about. Or it could be something a bit more sinister. It could be hazmat suit wearing, biohazard controlmen, with flamethrowers taking out the zombies and the more radioactive elements of the wasteland. Although, to be fair, when I heard the term cleaners, my first thought was French maids and little froofy feather dusters. So, what can I say? It was a broad theme, and you guys did not disappoint. We have had a fantastic turnout this month. Without any further ado, so this month we have had 23 finished entrants. That's right, boys and girls, 23 finished entrants. Oh yes, what a wide variety we have for you today. So, from the top, everyone who finished, we have Adam Pollard, Braden Wachtel, Damien Sailors, Daniel Mumford, Darren Phillips, reigning heavyweight champion of 2022, David Bousset, David Traves, Hardo Pius, Keith Ambrose, Keith McAvoy, Kev Williams, Mark Freeman, Matt Whittam, Matthew Morrill, Nava Fishman Shari, Nick Kitch, Odd Jobmod, Richard Hubbard, Scott Howland, Tony Peacock, Travis Usner, William Burke, and of course, William Elliott. That's right. So, 23 finished entries. 23 finished entries this month. My goodness, what a veritable wasteland feast for the eyes. My goodness. Let us dig into this mountain of trash. But just before we get too carried away, we need to talk about disqualifications this month, and we need to go over again, yes, the submission guidelines and requirements for this competition. We established them last year, and you guys, you got to follow these. You got to follow these because we don't want to disqualify anyone. But if you don't follow the rules, we cannot count your entry. And this month, sadly, Scott Howland, my friend, I know you're new to this competition, and this is such a solid first entry, and I want to talk about it. I want to go into detail about all the bits you've used and all the different modelling techniques to make that frame on the back, but all of your photos are taken in portrait, and just like using a plain white background with nothing else of photos, we ask that you take all your pictures in landscape, unless unless there's an argument to be made that the model is too tall to be taken in landscape. Like it's like a skyscraper on wheels, right? It's a double decker bus that's like 20 layers up, right? Those kind of hot air balloon builds where there's so much going on in the image you can't physically fit it landscape. All of your photos could and should have been taken in landscape. So look, we gotta disqualify you. And it breaks my heart because, alright, okay, the paint job's not the greatest, you know, there's a lot of the heavy reliance on the brown wash, the Northern Oil to do the heavy lifting here. But the actual build, the concept, the wonderful wrecked, you know, Land Rover on the back there, like I say, the iframe, you know, set up around it for the recovery, it's a solid build. But we can't accept it if you're not taking the photos in landscape. It's the same rule for everyone at the end of the day. And if I need to emphasize this anymore, this is what it looks like if I was to use these photos unedited in this video. Like, here we are in landscape and everything's topsy-turvy and you can't figure out what's going on. We aren't making YouTube shorts and TikTok videos, boys and girls. We need stuff in landscape, okay? So please, do not submit photos that are taken in portrait, only in landscape. Thank you, Scott, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with in April's competition. But let us move on to look at some of the fine finished entries we have had this month, some of the beautiful street sweepers and wasteland cleaners. So let's start with your boy and mine, Richard Hubbard's monster truck of a cleaning truck. My goodness. Yes, so what do we have here? It's Granny Means Green Cleaning Machine, now with 95% more menthol for that natural clean. I feel like it should also almost be something like now with 95% more gasoline or something for that natural clean. And then, of course, it's flamethrowers on either side. Now, in terms of actually hitting the theme this month, I like it, Richard. I absolutely love this entry, but it doesn't really scream a cleaning machine. Okay, you got the French maids on there, which I'm a massive fan of. You've got the whole cleaning company aesthetic. You put a sofa on your build, which I'm a massive advocate of. You should be raiding the Wasteland in comfort, boys and girls. And, you know, it's a solid build. I say it's one of the best builds you've come out with so far. The dirt dry brushing will always need working on, my friend, because you need to stop doing it in one pass on those tyres. I know that's one pass. That's what one pass looks like. You're meant to dry brush it or do multiple light dustings, not just there's the brown, okay? You stop doing that. Works on the body, not on the wheels. You separate those out. But the actual concept, the execution, those wonderful decals of the little cleaning ladies on the trailer, like the truck cabin. Oh, I just mate, one of your best builds so far. So far this year at least. Richard Hubbard. I do look forward to seeing what you come up with in April's competition. And then after Richard Hubbard, we have returning crowd favourite Adam Pollard and his wonderful garbage truck entry. Oh yes. Now, Adam, we need to have the talk again. You need to stop editing your photos so heavily in Photoshop before you submit them. I know this because when I look at them zoomed in, it's not just the paint, brush strokes I can see. The actual shades and tones are starting to blur together. And the main reason for this is because ultimately, at the end of the day, this is not a photo editing contest. This is a modelling contest. Now, I can see all the bits you've used, but the fine details get lost if you're smearing it over with the Vaseline of photo editing, okay? Raw, unedited photos, my friend. You don't need to tart them up. You've never needed to tart them up. Oh, my friend, what a solid entry. I love the extension you've done to the front of the truck cab for like that little operator's seating area. I love that. As someone that used to work with forklift trucks, that's exactly what those little spaces used to feel like, these little cramped little things that you're stuck inside of. Oh, wonderful. And all the scrap and looted wrecks in the back. Absolutely fantastic entry. Wonderful stuff, Adam, and it is good to see you back in this competition, my friend. And then after Adam, we have returning heavyweight champion, weighing in at £300. That's right, Darren Phillips' entry. Oh my lord, Darren, what do you do to me, my friend? As I said to you in a post, you had fun this month, didn't you, my friend? Oh, sweet goodness. Oh, baby. Look at the just layers of detail and texture and stuff and material. Like, there is so much going on here, my friends. From the different layers of metal and rust and wooden planking and barbed wire and all sorts of fiddly little bits, to the beautiful application of minis and paint, and just it all works so seamlessly. There is always room for improvement, however, and I kind of wish, I look at the little stop sign that says zoo on it and the actual stop sign, and I kind of wish that you'd done those with a pen rather than with a paintbrush. I know how hard it is to paint letters, okay? So sometimes it's a little better if you just print something off, or rather than try and paint it, like use a pen. But mate, it's hard to criticise this, isn't it? Like, I suppose the little spikes around some of the turret sections, they kind of feel a bit too orc rather than Mad Max Wasteland. Like, it's the little visual cues that in the brain just pick up and you go, it looks a little bit orky rather than wastelandy. But like, I love the photo you showed of the actual wrecking ball arm in motion, which, mate, you should have submitted that photo as well, because to the untrained eye, it just looks like that little wrecking ball is locked in that position when we both know it's not. You can move that, so you should show that off more than the one photo you submitted. But mate, what an entry. What a good entry. There's some absolute fire here, isn't there? And this is the thing, even the eagle-eyed amongst you, as you get into this hobby long term and you take apart more and more cars, you start to recognise the bits that show up in builds, like that truck cab, or those wonderful London taxi cab doors that you've got on the side there as extra armour. Those tyres, I know the truck that those tyres come from. Like, mate, what a good build. Really went above and beyond with this one, my friend. Lovely stuff. I can't wait to see what you come up with in April's competition. And then after Darren Phillips' entry, on the subject of show-stopping builds, we have, of course, your friend and mine, Kev Williams' entry. Oh, yes. And can I just say, it is nice to see someone use an actual skip, an actual dumpster in the back for holding little guys, especially ones armed with flamethrowers, because, mate, that works so well. Absolutely love it. What a fantastic entry. I mean, the paint jobs, your paint jobs tend to be clean and to the point and efficient, but that lettering on Cleansing Flame, oh my goodness, butter my backside and call me a biscuit. That is good, Kev. I like that. Oh, yes. I suppose the flamer turret itself could be a bit more, I don't know, like you've got these little, I know it's a 3D printed part, okay, I know that it is, but you've got those little silver barrels either side of the actual flamer turret. Maybe if those were picked out in red as well, just so the entire turret isn't just a single big silver blob in effect. Maybe some of the metal textures, maybe some more separation. The rust is good, but I can see how it's more of a liquid wash or sort of filter effect than it is an actual like dry brushed on texture or powder. So maybe just a bit more variation there in the texture, so like using a powder or some dry brushing or something like that. But then there is dry brushing in other areas, so it's a very nuanced build. But overall, an absolutely solid entry, Kev Williams. Fantastic stuff. And then after Kev Williams' entry, we have returning heavyweight champion from 2020. That's right, Tony Peacock, entering something that is not purple, I might add. Instead, it is this delightful bin lorry with a little mechanical snapping mouth that pops out to grab at things. Mate, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. There's a real sense that this sort of thing is alive with that goofy eye on the back. I probably would have missed that out myself, but I get the whole, it's got like a mimic kind of feel, like especially with like the scrap, the bit of cloth coming out of it that makes it look like a tongue. I mean, you do get like crazy, creepy living things in the Wasteland, and you do get like fairground vehicles and things that will have the great big fiberglass mascots and things on them. So, you know, it could be somewhere in between. Things got a little too strange out in the sand dunes, if you know what I'm saying. But the actual build and concept and execution here, on point. Absolutely on point, Tony. I mean, I'm always one for having more variation in the colour and the body panels. Like, the cab is just white. The body of the garbage truck is just blue. But you see garbage trucks in real life, and that's what they look like, you know? They are just big monotone blobs, because that's what they are. However, don't feel like you can't change things up a bit and add replacement panels, which you've done. You know, I can see the extra armour bits, but, you know, even just picking out one of those squares in amongst that sea of blue, you know, just picking one of them out in like an orange or a red or something, just contrasting, would have worked really nicely. I think the execution, as I said, is just on point. The design here is just so silly and wonderful. I love it. There's that wonderful suggestion of like things working as well, like with the apparatus on top of the garbage truck. Like, mate, this is on point. Really, really good to see. Like, you've always smashed out like the high performance cars and like the cyberpunk builds. It's so nice to see like a solid Wasteland, big, heavy, grungy build coming from you, my friend. Absolutely fantastic work, Tony, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with in April's competition. And then after Tony, of course, we have brand new, fresh to the competition. That's right, we have Mark Freeman's entry. Oh, yes. Now, this one's quite interesting because that's not your typical everyday garbage truck now, is it? You've had to make that body. I can tell because that base, that truck base, that's like a military vehicle, isn't it? Isn't that normally carrying like a rocket or a couple of missiles or something on the back? So the fact you've had to go out of your way to scratch build, you know, the appearance of a garbage truck back, mate, wonderful. Absolutely love it. The passengers are all on point. I love the one hazmat guy with the AK in the dustbin that's chained to the side. Absolutely solid gold. I am stealing that idea 100% because I love that. I think that's great. But it is sadly the paint job that is letting this down. The concept, the build execution, wonderful. But the paint job is just murdering me, my friend. And I think it's because it's all one layer. It's all, okay, there's all the silver on, and there's the gold on the cab, and there's the green on the back. And, you know, it's just thick, heavy layers. And that's not what we want to see. We want to see gradual building up of tones and colours. Just slow it down. At the end of the day, there is some stuff that a wash cannot do, and a wash cannot do all the heavy lifting for you. It can do a lot of it, but it can't iron out the kinks in those base layers. And the easiest place to see this is on the tyres, especially those front tyres, because that silver is on the black of the tyre, and at no point have you gone back over to go over that. Tyres are not made of metal, my friend, and it wouldn't have taken you 2 seconds to just bit of black paint, put that on there, and it's done. But all in all, a rock solid entry, perfectly on theme for this month. Just took a little bit more time in the oven and it would have been there. After Mark Freeman, we have, of course, Daniel Mumford's entry. Oh yes, while everyone else was sticking it out in the dumps, slow, crumbly vehicles rolling to their deaths, Daniel's here making a hot rod dragster with enormous Hoover attachments. Oh yes. My goodness, my friend, what on earth have you submitted this month? It is well, it's almost a war rig, isn't it? Like, you've got this back trailer that's run on tracks connecting to a 6-wheel hot rod dragster cabin at the front. Now, my only issue with this is, at the end of the day, you pop that truck trailer off the back and you've got this really sleek, speedy, sporty looking hot rod dragster. However, that minigun turret on top of it sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? It's just this great big aerodynamic flagpole that would just cause so much drag and just a nightmare. But with that trailer on the back, it works fine. It works absolutely fine. Now, I suppose this is a wonderful example of having areas of the build that work really well, and then areas of the build that need a little bit more work. Like the crewman with the machine gun at the back, mate, he is 3 colours. He is yellow and grey and the black of the gun, and that is it. And that's not enough. If you're putting people on your build, you can't just do 3 colours. That's not enough. So go back onto him, give him a wash, give him something, and then paint the visor of his face, because he is looking through a solid yellow mass. How is he meant to see through that? Oh, but at the same time, look at that claw arm. That is a work of art right there. Hydraulics can be so tricky to pull off, and that's a really solid way of doing it. The actual mechanism of the claw itself, mate, those pincers aren't moving. I hate to break it to you, but there is no articulation in those pincers. And they don't always have to have articulation. It could just be like a giant trident, or whatever the 4-prong version is, where it just harpoons into a thing and flips it up and drops it in the back. But I get the feeling you were going for the crushing claw arm that picks things up. You need some suggestion of mechanism there in the claw itself. You've got it in the arm, and the arm is solid in places, but those little circular tube ends to create the illusion of joints and pivot points, wonderful. Do that in the claw arm. You didn't, but that's what you should do. But the Hoover attachments are inspired. I think those are great. But wonderful stuff, Daniel. I look forward to your April's competition entry. And then after Daniel, if we are talking about little grabby claw hands, how can we not talk about my boy, William Burke's entry? Oh, yes, William, yes, my friend. Look at this. Oh, what a wonderful build. Raising the bar for yourself personally, my goodness. I love all the little sci-fi extras you've added to this flying recovery vehicle. Like, this isn't just about cleaning up the scrap. This is about disposing of the hazardous waste, isn't it? Like, mate, this is one of your best bits by far. By far, bar none. The flying base works really well. That's super appropriate. Love it. The figures are just a wonderful touch, but I'm on the fence as to whether or not you've painted them or they came pre-painted, all right? So I'm not going to talk about the figures. If you've painted them, fantastic, 10 out of 10, love it. If they came pre-painted, you got a wonderful eye for parts. However, I can't give you credit for that because you didn't paint them. But the actual build itself, like even just the number 9 on either side, works wonderfully. It's so utilitarian. It's so cyberpunk as a build. Like, this is very much a Neo Tokyo, it's in the futuristic wasteland city kind of build. And you know what? That's fine by me, because that is a rock solid build. By far, bar none, one of your best builds, William. Just keep going, my friend. Keep pushing, because this is wonderful stuff. Love it. Absolutely love it. Fantastic work, William. And if we are talking about fantastic builds, my goodness, how can we not talk about Matt Whittam's entry this month? Oh my goodness. I know Darren Phillips' entry looks like a heavy hitter, but my goodness, if anyone can give him a run for his money this month, or the reigning champion from 2022, David Bousset, then it is you, my friend Matt, because my goodness, look at this build. Look at all the detail and the extra bits and pieces and textures. My goodness, I love the straps. I love the ropes. I love things like the Zomburger's little Easter egg there on the bag. The guy eating noodles, all of the stowage, all of the extra little bits. Like, I love the branding, like Mish Crane and Croms and the trees. Log King. This is the big money now, isn't it? What an amazing build. Like, even just the hubcaps on those tyres, like, I get that those can be like a 3D printed or laser cut accessory and put on there, but they work beautifully, and they're not all uniform and the same. There are subtle little differences between them. Some of them have the handlebars open, and it's like, mate, talk about pushing yourself to go the extra mile, because this is solid gold, Matt Whittam. This is solid gold, my friend. Absolutely love it. We've got a heavyweight contender here, boys and girls. And can I point out again, Richard Hubbard, these tyres, this is how you weather tyres. Look at this, do this, okay? Fantastic stuff, my friend. Oh, yes. And after Matt Whittam, we have, of course, slap me down, hit me with that feather duster, because it is time for Nick Kitch's entry. Oh, yes. And taking a very, my goodness, it's a deep sea swamp approach to this month, isn't it? I mean, the purple is just such a breath of fresh air after all the green we've been seeing, but the beautiful lenses on those eyes, on the headlights or viewing screens or whatever they are, on the front of that cab, mate, those are to die for lenses, aren't they? I want to see photos of them a bit more in focus, okay, because it kind of breaks my heart that, you know, all of your close-ups are sort of more focused towards the back of a vehicle, but all that requires you to do is just move the camera a little bit back from the model and photograph it again. So, you know, maybe a bit more time spent doing that at the end, but, you know, we've all been there. We've all been trying to rush things at the last minute, so don't sweat it. I love the extra armour. I love all the little bits of stowage, or junk, as you so kindly label there. I love the little claw arm carrying the little guy. Like, I think that's a beautiful little touch. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that's either a 3D printed part or something from another game, because that's very specific looking, but for the life of me, I couldn't tell you where it's from. This is a beautiful little vehicle that must go around the racetracks, collecting up all the broken bits and pieces and people that this wonderful competition of ours generates, because my goodness, what a solid little build. Like the paint job, as I say, it's rough and it's ready and it's to the point, and the detail is where it matters. It absolutely is. Like having the red sort of gas or petrol canister on the side there, but with an orange cable coming away from it. It would have been so easy, I'm sure, to just keep that the same colour, but you didn't do that. And I really appreciate that. But again, it's just taking a step back when you're taking those photos, because I want to enjoy those eye lenses more on the front, but I can't, because I've got one photo that's in focus, and even then it's a little bit out. So just take a deep breath and just, you know, hey, even if it's just putting your pictures on your computer and having a look at them yourself to see what they look like up close, because sometimes that's the difference between, you know, the gold and the bronze, my friends. Wonderful work, Nick Kitch. Absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to see what you do for April, my friend. Oh yes. And finally, can we pour one out for our dear friend Molinaro Dominique, who, at the time of recording 2 weeks into April, he still hasn't finished his entry from March's competition. Oh, Molinaro, I so wanted to see you finish your little vacuum cleaner garbage truck on wheels, but c'est la vie. Anyway, with all that said, to round out this section, let us have a look at who will win the first Wooden Spoon Award of 2023. That's right, my friends. We have the one, the only, and it's not who you think. That's right, it's Odd Job Mods entry. Oh, mate. Come on, Objob Mod. You're better than this. Come on. You done like the barest minimum to modify this thing, and that like it was damaged enough in the first place. Like that's some proper snapped plastic there as well. So you had to do a bit of recovery, but mate, you just painted it green and then stuck a funnel on it. What is the purpose of the garbage day? Is it meant to be like a blender? Like people get dropped in and come out the end bloody? What's the screwed up bit of toilet paper stuck on the side? I don't get what that is. I don't understand that. Is it smoke? Is it rope? What is that? The garbage bags in the back look nice, and the little metal like almost like a paintbrush or fronds that's fine. The Space Marine Stormbolter stuck on the side, just murdered with paint, is not, mate. You got a thing your paints when you do this, my friend. Come on, old job mods. I know you're better than this, buddy. Come on, my friend. What are you doing to me? But enough digging around in that trash heap, my brothers, because yes, it is time to announce the winner of March's competition. So, without any further ado, my brothers, start that drum roll, because the winner of Gaslands UK's Car of the Month competition for March 2023 is Darren Phillips! Yes, Darren, congratulations, my friend. Returning heavyweight superstar from last year, once again setting a trail of glory for everyone to follow. That's right, Darren. A £50 gift voucher to the Mad Cars Green Miniature website is on its way to you, my friend. And it's not hard to see why, because my goodness, what have I not already said? This thing is just a work of art, my friend. Absolutely a work of art. The kind of art that so many of us reach for in our lifetimes, but is always out of reach. What can I say? It really is nicely done, my friend. The combination of materials and textures and paint jobs, all the little subtle nuances, even the little teeny tiny details, like how on the wooden expanded shack section, like that yellow rusted door is just such a beautiful texture compared to the speckled dirty white of the main body of the dump truck. Like, this is the thing, my friend. It is such a beautiful agglomeration of parts. It's just the detail, the textures, everything. It just works so nicely. What a heavyweight contender, and as I'm sure we can all agree this month, incredibly worthy of the Car of the Month title. So congratulations, my friend. As I said, a £50 gift voucher is on its way to you. Spend it wisely, I'm sure you will. But if that was first, who won second place? Well, I can tell you right now, my friends, that our good friends over at Green Miniatures have chosen the one, the only Titanic man of mystery that is Kev Williams for second place. That's right, my friend Kev, the flamethrower dump truck combo. Oh my goodness, what a fantastic build. Oh man, I tell you, it puts a smile to my face every time. So enjoy that £35 gift voucher that's on its way to you. And finally, my brothers, last but not least, in third place, they have chosen the one and only returning fans' favourite superstar. That's right, Tony Peacock's entry. Oh yes, congratulations, my friend Tony, and a £20 gift voucher is on its way to you. So, as always, a massive thank you for everyone who took part this month. I know it breaks your heart when I can't talk about you all, and there have been some absolutely brilliant works this month. As we know, David Bissett continues to push the 12 of 12 of this fine competition of ours, so I look forward to seeing what he comes up with in April's month. And at the same time, we have had some brilliant, absolutely brilliant entries, but I can't talk about them all. So you'll just have to stay tuned for April's competition to see who else gets featured. That's right, we've got an exciting month ahead of you, boys and girls. Why, it's still raging even at the recording of this video. But that said, I have been your host. If you have enjoyed today's video, then check out the sponsor in the description link down below. Check out the merchandise store. As we know, there's a fine array of Gaslands UK t-shirts and merchandise, including coffee mugs, which I myself am intensely jealous of because I don't have one. And alongside that, just to wrap up this video, can I say a massive thank you to all the wonderful admin staff that go into the making of this fine competition of ours. Of course, myself, the maestro of the Wasteland, but as always, thank you to Matt Reeve, Colin Harvard and Benjamin Pop for all of their hard work each month. Thank you, Wasteland, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.